How's it going? What's up? I'm, yes, Shirley, you're in charge of window wipers. So I am here in Yerushalayim. And you know, there's been so little said about the coronavirus from rabbis other than be careful, which is like cute and sweet. But I mean like from a bigger perspective. And I haven't known what to say myself because the whole thing's been just a little weird. But, or more than a little weird, extremely weird. And I usually have a lot to say about these kinds of things. And so I haven't really had much to say about this one. But now I have something to say. I was thinking about it while I was praying this morning. So you want to say hi to the world? You can fly over here for a second if you do. I'm with my son, Surly. You're not in the picture yet. No. He's moving the phone. Hi, say hi, everybody.
Hi.
So, anyway, so my thoughts were as follows. Sorry, I'm watching the road a little bit. The coronavirus is a microscopic thing, you know. It's like, this is a super tiny thing. And, I mean, whatever that thing is, that's the shape of a crown. Or it's got spikes like a crown or whatever. But it's, you know, we're talking about a microscopic thing. And what happens when something's microscopic like that, and it's passing person to person, that has two effects on us. One effect is that the fact that it's microscopic and the fact that it passes the way it does. Hey, Paul, the fact that it passes, hey, David, the fact that it passes like it does creates one specific thing, and that is that it's random. It just comes out random. And why is everyone so scared? Everyone's so scared because no one's exempt. You know, it's like this has nothing. It's like when I say random, meaning it has nothing to do with God. And so it's amazing I didn't figure this out on Purim, because the whole point of Purim is, you know, reading this random story that God doesn't seem to be, you know, part of, because God's name's hidden in the whole crazy story, and yet we see that God's really running the show the whole time. And meanwhile, I totally missed that on Purim. Here's where we're going, right, Cyril? Up here. So I was really drunk when I went here, and I went to this mansion. Oh, there's the mansion. Well, let's show them on Facebook. Anyway, I went to this mansion. I'll show it to you. I can flip the screen. That mansion up there. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, the windshield wipers. Yeah. So there's a mansion right up there. And we were there on Purim. And anyway, there's a very rich guy who lives up there. And while I was sitting there at the table, I found this guy who comes to my house every year. He comes to my house once a year on Purim. And, you know, I give him like $100 every Purim. And, you know, it's just our forever custom. But I live on the other side of Jerusalem, and I just was not expecting this guy to be there. And here's this guy, Shmuel, his name is, from Beitar. It's not even his day, meaning it's not exactly fulfilling the commandment, you know, fulfilling the mitzvah of giving to the poor on Purim, because he's not from our city. It's got to be like, I think, your people. So it's called Bo Bayom. It's on the day to the people of your community, you know. So anyway, there's Shmuel, and he's asking me to get him in close with this rich guy who lives up there. And the funniest thing is, this rich guy is getting totally bombarded by like 1 million fundraisers at once, because you're not allowed to say no to anybody. So he's just like getting bombarded. And I'm sitting next to the guy with the music's blasting, and we're drinking wine and partying, and I'm watching this guy. He's handing out 20s to everybody, and this poor guy Shmuel's so afraid he's going to get a 20. So then I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't give Shmuel his $100 yet. And so I said, I know what I'll do. I'll borrow from this wealthy gentleman, which is what I'm doing here now, as I'm coming to return. I'll borrow from him 400 shekels, which is about $100 or $120. I'll borrow from him 400 shekel. And I'll give him, hi Lisa, hey Andrew, fine, oh my gosh, all my friends are watching. So I'll borrow from him 400 shekel, and I'll I'll return it, today or whatever. That way I can at least give him his 100 shekels. And I asked him to match me another 400 shekels. Anyway, he didn't do that. He gave him 200 shekels from him, gave me 400. Anyway, later I'm telling my wife this story. She's like, yeah, he got to our house and there was no more money. So I sent him here to this rich guy. And maybe he'd get some money here. In the end, I wound up giving him the money here by borrowing it from the rich guy. But my wife was laughing. She was like, I wasn't intending that. But it was amazing how it came through for Shmuel. Everything comes through like that. It's just incredible. At the end of the night, 2 in the morning, we're partying. I got this Breslov dude from Svat with his like giant payas. Remember? Oh, you weren't there. Anyway, this guy, his name's Hoffman. I forget his first name. Anyway, he's at my house. Everyone's partying. It's 2 in the morning. We washed at 2 p.m. We're now getting ready to bench at 2 a.m., but we're still partying. We have the most incredible band ever. I'll try to, if you guys get a chance, I'm going to try to float these videos onto Facebook. You just won't believe what was going on in there. At one point, we had 5 highly professional musicians just ripping the craziest jam ever at the end of Purim. But anyway, today I'm davening in Zichron Moshe. I'm davening, I'm learning Daf Yomi, I'm davening, learning Daf Yomi, I'm davening, learning. And all of a sudden, this kid, Hoffman, pops into my brain. I'm like, Hoffman, man, what a Hasidic young man that was from Tzfas. And he was such a tripper, and he was so high. And he's just, and then I was thinking, wow, I didn't even get his first name. Anyway, I turn around, and right behind me is this guy with his eyes closed, about like maybe 3 feet behind me, davening away, paying no attention to anyone. And I'm looking at this big paced Breslov dude, and I'm like, wow, he reminds me of Hoffman. I had no idea it was Hoffman because I was wasted, poor night. But anyway, when he opens his eyes for a little second and sees me, and he's like, it was Hoffman. And it's just such an incredible hashgacha pratis, how God runs the world, like every detail. So back to the coronavirus, is that the coronavirus, because it's microscopic. So it's like, oh, God doesn't have control over microscopic things. Yeah. This whole thing's a figment of God's imagination. All of this physical world, from the microscopic to the macroscopic, is all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's all God running the show. What do you think? Like things could be too small for God? Which is very interesting because it reminds me of Egypt. Back to redemption. Now we got plague, pestilence, in Egypt, when the plague of lice, which is a weird plague, which may be the only reason we have that weird plague of lice, kinim, is that maybe it was just for this vort, maybe it's for this, is that when Moses, when God sent the plague of that through Moses of kinim, I think, didn't he throw dirt up in the air, Sterling? Yeah, God, it would be closer to me. We're parking. When he threw the kinim, the dust into the air, it became lice, right? And it went all over everybody. And it's quite amazing. It's quite amazing that it's specifically dust, that even dust can become a living things. And it's interesting that I wonder if that's why the Gemara paskins that lice aren't alive and you can kill them on Shabbos. By the way, we don't necessarily paskin you can kill them on Shabbos, but there's a major discussion that they're not even living, which is so interesting that the dust became dust, which, became these kinim. And there's even those who hold you can kill lice on Shabbos. We don't kill lice on Shabbos, but you're not even to pull them out, really. It's a borer. I should turn off my air conditioning so it's quieter. I should turn off my motor, actually. That's better. Anyway, it's amazing how background noise we just forget it's even going on. It's crazy. Shem Shahab. Why we space out on background noise, because it's plays on your central nervous system. Your central nervous system is collecting everything, and it's please don't press that. It's collecting everything, and it's just giving it work that's unnecessary. Cut the background noise. I was just teaching in a hall in Muncie, and I said, does anyone know where the manager of the hall is? Turns out he was part of the audience, which was incredible. So I had I'm like, you mind shutting off these fluorescent lights? I think they're buzzing. And those were off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's something else. You mind just shutting off the air conditioning? He shut them off. So there's something else. He's like, well, that's the outtake. It just clears the room of, the vents. They clear the room. I'm like, can you shut those off? In the end, after 5 things, that was 4, but there was more, 5 or 6 things, it just got quiet. And then I led a meditation. But it was, anyway, back to us. So the coronavirus, because it's microscopic, and because it affects through breathing, yeah? It's amazing how your Shalmis and Me'asharim have no concept of germs. So here we all worrying about the coronavirus. It was Purim Day, and my dearest friend in the world, Rabbi Baruch Hennig, always brings a big Yerushalmi kugel, so it's in a pot full of kugel. And everyone's, knowing you got to stay away, keep your hands washed, keep your hands out of your mouth, etc. So this Yerushalmi kid, his grandson, he's helping him deliver the kugel. The problem, he has nothing to pull the boiling hot kugel in there, and he can't get it out because it's too hot for his hands. So what is he doing? He's going like this on the whole pot of kugel. He's like this, and then grabbing the kugel and putting it on a plate. Next, it slices in triangles like a pizza, stacked high. Next one's pulling all over the sides of the whole wall of kugel and then pulling it out. Anyway, because it's microscopic and because it heads through the breath, we've all been thinking that God's not in control of this one, and so we've lost our protection. But no, just like the lice, and just like everything that there's nothing that happens. Nothing happens outside the realm of God producing it, and we're now all put in this incredible position of unknown. We're all in this insane position of unknown. I mean, this is the fear of the unknown. That's you can't get a better example. And there's only 5 fears. There's rejection, there's failure, there's out of control, and the unknown. And then physical pain and suffering. This one also includes physical pain and suffering because, who wants such a disease in their lungs? But it's the unknown here. That's what's going on here. People panic over the unknown. I mean, what is anxiety? Anxiety is always over the unknown. Things that are known, okay, I mean, maybe unknown how I'll deal with unknown when it comes, but the bottom line is this is an anxiety from the unknown. But the thing is the cure for anxiety is emunah. To know that God's running the show. That's the cure. And that brings you to bitachon, because to trust that he's doing it. Trust is where the anxiety actually disappears. Emunah is how can you have any, I mean, it's insane, it's crazy you're not just jumping out of your skin all the time, given all the unknowns. But knowing there's a God who's running the show, that's emunah, knows there's a God. Knowing there's a God is emunah. That he runs the show is bitachon, trust. Right? Knowledge and trust. Knowing there's a God is emunah. Trust that he's running the show is bitachon. Knowing there's a God who's running the show. This virus is doing its thing exactly as God wants it to. There's nothing outside of the realm of God's divine providence. Okay? There's only how much we fall asleep to it, but this is the perfect storm of us falling asleep to something. Because, as I said, those 2 things, microscopic and just kind of randomly shooting through the air, that whole randomness, because it's really got a randomness to it. They still don't even know is it on surfaces, how long does it last, what is its incubation period? It's unknown. And then in the end, we all just lose it. So don't lose it. Don't lose it. This isn't beyond Hashem. Hashem's running this thing. And if you get it, you're meant to get it. If you don't get it, you weren't meant to get it. You die, okay, you're done. It was your time. If you didn't die, it was not your time. Nothing happens outside the realm of God's running the show. He's got you. He's got all of us. Yeah, we're already caught. As I always say, we already have a hook in our mouth. It's a question when he reels you in. Okay, so everyone take a deep breath. Let's breathe together. Ready, Srilly? Inhale. Release. Now, by the way, it doesn't mean you don't do your darndest to make sure you don't get it. You got to be careful. Okay, whatever the doctors are saying to do as your own personal, what's called ishtadlus, meaning your personal efforts, make your personal efforts to avoid it. our soap containers at home now have antiseptic soap from the hospital. I don't know where my kids picked that up, but we're doing our part. What were you saying, Sus? You can tell me. Say it. Okay. Anyway, signing off. Blessings to everybody. Love y'all. And good Shabbos. Shalom. And please, obviously, as usual, share. Hit that share button, man. Hit that click button or follow or whatever those things are. Hit them. And anyway, have a great Shabbos. By the way, I'm going to have no audience this coming week, meaning I'm going to record every day at class this coming week, Bezrat Hashem, but no audience. Aish has closed the door to audiences. We're going just live feed. Okay, blessings. All the best. Shalom. Say shalom.
Bye.
Say good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.